So let's talk about variable scopes. And a scope is just an area of code in which a variable lives. So there are basically two scopes in JavaScript. There's the global scope, where everything can see a global variable. All of these functions, all of this code can all see the same global variable. And then there's local scope, which is local to a function. So the var value here means that this variable value is only visible inside of this function. If I try to refer to value out here, outside of this scope, it's going to try to look at the value of the global value variable, not this local one in here. So what actually happens with global variables? Well, in a browser, there's a window object. So let's go to the console. And if I type window, I get back an object that has a whole bunch of properties, methods, and so on defined on it. And your global variables are actually defined as properties on this window object. So if I go ahead and create a global variable like my global variable, and I set it to be some value, what that just did was it added a property called myGlobalVariable to the window object, and I can access it like so. I can also access it like this, right? So global variable is just a property on the window object. And since there is only one window object, and anybody who tries to access this global variable is going to get the same property coming back, any code that looks at a global variable is going to see the same value. Now, on the other hand, if I define a function that has a local variable like so, and then I run this function, my local variable is undefined in the outer scope. So this does not create a property on the window object. This only exists inside of the function while it's running. So what about this without the var keyword? Oops, try that again. So without the var keyword, if I set the value of my local variable, this is going to refer to the global my local variable. And now, if I look at my local variable out here, I get some other value. So with var, that means this is local to the function. Without var, that means this is global, and it sets a property on the window object, like so. Now, this is the source of many bugs. People who forget to declare something as local to a function. They forget the var keyword because this will usually just work fine because anything that refers to my local variable is going to see this value. Often this will work fine. But if there's another function that's also looking at my local variable and one of them changes the value, that can cause unpredictable results in any other code that's also looking at that global variable. So even though I might mean two separate values in two separate functions, they're both actually using the same global value. So it's really important to make sure that you mark all of your local variables using var because, as I said, can lead to many bugs that are hard to find and fix.